There is a specific moment when you realize you are not just helping someone anymore, you are choosing them. I had that moment on a Wednesday, in a penthouse kitchen, when Alexander Cross looked at me like I was the first good thing that had happened to him in years. I had started coming up most evenings. We had not made a formal arrangement, it just happened, the way things happen when you stop fighting something that feels inevitable. I would finish my work on 39, and instead of going down to the lobby, I would go up. I would help with dinner if Eli had talked Alexander into attempting something ambitious. I would sit with Eli while Alexander took calls he could not avoid. I would pretend very hard that this was all perfectly normal and professional, and Eli would catch my eye over his brother's shoulder and grin like the most knowing 19-year-old on the planet. Eli, for the record, is absolutely insufferable in the best possible way. You like him, he told me one afternoon when Alexander had stepped out to take a call. Flat statement. No question mark. I opened my mouth to say something responsible. He cut me off. He likes you too. He laughs differently when you are here. I have not heard him laugh like that in about 4 years, so I am just going to need you to not ruin it. I did not ruin it. I tried very hard not to ruin it. The Wednesday I am talking about, the one where everything shifted, started with a crisis. Eli's morning physical therapist had cancelled last minute, and Alexander had a board presentation at 9 that he absolutely could not miss, and Eli needed his morning exercises done or his muscles would stiffen and he would be in pain for the rest of the day. Alexander called me at 7:45. I had never heard him sound like that. Controlled on the surface, but underneath it, the specific quiet panic of someone who has run out of options. I would not ask, he said, if there were any other way. I will be up in 10 minutes, I said. Go do your presentation. I had watched the exercises enough times to know the routine. Eli walked me through the ones I was less sure about, and he was patient with me in a way that made me understand exactly where he had learned patience from. We got through the full session. I made him breakfast after. We watched half of a documentary about deep-sea creatures that Eli was very passionate about. When Alexander came back at noon, he stood in the doorway of the living room and looked at the two of us on the couch arguing about whether anglerfish were terrifying or misunderstood, and something in his face just broke open. He crossed the room. He sat down next to me, not across from me, next to me, and without saying anything he reached over and covered my hand with his. Just that. Just his hand over mine. Eli made a very dignified exit to his room approximately 4 seconds later, claiming he needed to charge his chair, which we both knew was not true. Alexander and I sat there for a long moment. His hand was warm. His thumb moved once, slowly, across my knuckles. Thank you, he said. Not just for today. I turned my hand over under his. I know, I said. We did not kiss that day. But we both knew something had been decided. The next 3 weeks were the best of my life, and I am not being dramatic when I say that. We were careful at the office, nothing changed on 39, nothing that anyone could point to. But on 42, the distance between us kept closing. Slow and deliberate, like two people who had both been burned before and were choosing warmth anyway, carefully, with full awareness of the risk. And then Dana saw me. Dana Park is my best friend. Has been since college. She works in PR on the 22nd floor, and she has the observational skills of someone who should honestly be in intelligence work. She cornered me in the lobby one Thursday morning with a coffee and a look that said she had already figured out most of it. You are glowing, she said. You have been glowing for 3 weeks. You are never this calm during Q4. What is happening? I told her some of it. Not Eli, that was not my secret to share. But enough. That things were shifting with Alexander. That I thought he felt it too. Dana stared at me for a long time. Then she said, very carefully, Sophia. Victor Cross was in the building yesterday. He was not here for a meeting. I checked. My blood went cold. Victor Cross. Alexander's father. The man Alexander had spent 12 years building walls against. Dana leaned in close. He was on the security floor. Pulling elevator access logs. Someone was looking. Someone had noticed the pattern. The late evenings. The extra key card trips. Someone was already pulling the thread. And if they followed it all the way to the 42nd floor, everything Alexander had sacrificed to protect Eli would unravel in a single afternoon. I went straight to Alexander's office. I did not knock. I closed the door behind me and I told him everything Dana had said. And I watched the color leave his face. He stood up slowly, walked to the window, and was quiet for so long I thought he had forgotten I was there. Then he turned around and said the thing that broke my heart, you need to stop coming up. It is not safe. For either of you. Stay tuned for the next part.